Together we're Fox and Rabbit. We're filming this, our 11th Flosstube, it's hard to say, on Sunday the 14th of November. And it'll go up a little bit later today, hopefully, but the way the YouTube gods have been working lately, it mightn't go up till Monday. They're taking forever to approve videos at the moment. A lot's been happening over the last 2 weeks. Some of you might already know my father's been in hospital, so we've been running around after that for the last week or so. We've got another week of that to go. But
he's up in Newcastle, which is about an hour north of us, in the hospital up there. But the good news is,
he's
better. On the mend. So that came out of the blue a little bit last week.
So they think they've got some of the issues sorted now. So he should be out of hospital hopefully next week, which will be good. And the other thing is our missing fabric finally arrived.
Yay!
It finally arrived on Friday. I don't know where it's been. It went for its own little trip. It's taken almost 5 weeks. It's
done more travelling than we have this last 2 years. So somebody said, I wish I could have just jumped on board and done the scenic trip with it, because we don't know. It's been everywhere. It's been Singapore. It's been Germany. It's been... Well, it's finally in Australia.
So it normally takes about 5 to 6 days to get to us, and this time it's taken 5 weeks. So it's been a little bit scary for us because it was our biggest linen shipment from Zweigart, and we had to pay for it no matter whether it arrived or not. But luckily it's arrived, so we can actually start dyeing the remaining orders from Expo.
Well, Brendan can start dyeing as soon as I get my act together and get the cutting and serging going. So that's already started. I'll have enough for him to start dyeing today, later on, after we've been up to visit his dad.
So that linen was supposed to arrive, as I said, 4 weeks or 5 weeks ago.
Almost 6, actually. It's almost 6 weeks now.
And we should have had another shipment arrive this week, which would have done the rest of the remaining orders from Expo. But unfortunately... we can't afford to pay for 2 shipments. Is basically what it comes down to. So we're going to get this out as soon as we can, and hopefully we'll have the next shipment of linen in time probably 3 weeks' time, and we'll be able to get everything out before Christmas.
A huge amount is going, though, in the next 3 weeks. So an absolute, I think 2,000 yards or something will be going. We're going to go hammer and tong, aren't we, and try to get it out probably in the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks at the most. But 3 weeks, you want to get the whole lot finished before Christmas, so we can start getting ready for Nashville, which, as I said to a friend the other day, the shadow of Nashville is looming large. So I think we've got like 3.5 months to get ready to go for that as well. I don't know where this year is going. Honestly, I can't believe it's been 2 weeks since that crazy Halloween video. Thank you, everyone, for the comments. I think we sort of gave everyone a few laughs with that one. I could have killed Brendan if anyone actually watched to the end. He was in major trouble that he left that little outtake in at the end, which I didn't know about until people started commenting about how the end was hilarious. And I thought, what ending? So I went and had a look, and Brendan was in big trouble for that one. So that was his little Halloween trick on me. So thank you for all the fun comments. We're glad you all enjoyed that. Brendan's skin's only just getting back to normal now. I think he had a few outbreaks after all that makeup on. So
all the face falling off.
Somebody said, well, I thought you guys would be a Mothman. No, they thought it would be a Mothman and a Bigfoot. So Brendan said,
and a fox and a rabbit.
Or a fox and a rabbit. And so so give us plenty of ideas for next year. So
But the weather here's been crazy too this last week or so. We've had flooding. That's gone now, but now we've got winds. If you look out our window, you probably hear the winds partway through the video. Across the road from us, we have a little forest of trees, eucalypt trees, and they have I don't know if you have them where you live, but we've got eucalyptus trees that about once or twice a year they basically dump all of their bark, and it comes off in big strips. And with this wind, it's been ripping it off. So we actually can't see our front lawn. It's actually just bark.
I'll take a photo before Brent edits this and I'll pop it up. It was crazy yesterday, wasn't it? It was you actually couldn't walk outside yesterday. The winds were so wild it would nearly knock you off your feet. And just all through the air, and I've never seen this before, all through the air were just little bark chips. So it was actually hitting you in the face as well. It's actually mostly paper bark.
No, it's not. It's eucalyptus.
Oh, okay, so there you go.
Eucalyptus trees.
Oh, I thought it was a paperbark tree.
No, paperbarks don't blow bark.
There you go. You can tell I know my flora, Australian flora. Well, anyway, it's eucalyptus bark. So yeah, so it's been crazy. It's still windy today, but not as bad as yesterday, thankfully. Yeah, that just came out of the blue, didn't it? We had no warning.
There's been still some big gusts this morning that have been blowing the bark everywhere. It's been hitting the windows and the roof.
I can hear the door rattling just here, so hopefully that's not too loud. Yeah. The dogs weren't too happy. They stayed inside the entire day. Normally Lily's out there running around the backyard, but although she was bringing a lot of it inside at one point, I think she thought it was a new toy. And eucalyptus leaves are quite poisonous, so we don't know about the bark, but Brendan had to keep taking it off her all day. I think she thought he was taking a toy away, but...
that plus dried worms.
Dried worms, that's the new thing.
Yeah, which is disgusting. You find them all over the lounge. And
yeah, she brings them in from the grass outside. It's like, I don't know how she finds them, but... Anyway, the joys of having a puppy.
Yeah. And during the week too, we also caught up with Katie from Cottage Garden Threads.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, Katie spent about 45 minutes with us.
Having a chat.
Yeah. So we actually recorded that chat, and we'll play it a little bit later as part of this video. Yeah. And make sure you watch that too, because Katie's got a
giveaway,
a little surprise for everybody as part of that video.
So what we'll do is we'll just go through just what we've been stitching this last week. Then we'll pop in the video chat, and then we'll come back after that and show you our purchases and what our plans are. Yeah. Sound good? Okay, baby.
Okay, so what have you been stitching, Garen?
Well, I haven't had a huge amount of stitching time. We've been trying to sort of also get ready for when all this linen arrives. So we've been sort of doing crazy cleaning and everything like that. So that's gotten in the way a little bit. But now for the first time since this started, I actually haven't finished my cryptid today. But I'm not sure. Hopefully, by the time I get back from the hospital this afternoon, I should be able to finish it in about an hour or so. So maybe by the time Brent edits this, he can put a picture up of this actually finished. But we got a lovely surprise. We got the Yeti this week. So Brendan said hashtag technically not Bigfoot, but it is really. So you can't really say. Oh, also too, I think I haven't shown you the one next to the Yeti is the
jackalope.
Oh, the jackalope. So, the jackalope was from last week, and he's so cute. She's so cute. So that will be a Yeti, and as I said, if I finish it in time, I'll get Brenda to insert a photo. We had a bit of a crazy busy day with serging linen and stuff like that, so I didn't quite get a chance to finish him, but he's very, very cute. So technically, he's an abominable. Is it abominable snowman?
Yeah.
Yeah, Yeti. Anyway, technically, it's a white Bigfoot.
It's not a Bigfoot. It's Bigfoot's like fourth cousin.
I think that might be the Bigfoot you're getting on this one, baby. So I'm actually going to because Brent's so behind, it's got nothing to do with the Bigfoot not being there. He's just been busy. I'm actually stitching this for Brendan. So when that's finished, that'll be framed in his office. So that was mine. So hopefully that'll be finished by the time we load this video. I've also gotten back to my Carol and Amelia trowel, which was a stitch along. If I can find the picture. It was a stitch along with some very close girlfriends, and I'm the only one that hasn't finished it, but I do want to get this finished before Christmas because I love it, and it's a lovely memory of a stitching group of friends that I love. So so it's that one. I've made some changes to the colours, but that's not unusual for me. As I think many of you know from previous videos, I've had to pull a lot of this stuff out. The house, I think, is 3 times now, but I'm going quite well. So that's my progress so far, but I hope to have a lot more of that to show by the next video. I've got a little mark there. I don't know what it is, but luckily a motif goes right over the top of that. So I don't know what I did there. Yeah. So like I said, colour changes. I changed the house. I think it was Sandcastle, and I changed it to, I think, Toasted Barley by Gentle Art, because there's a lot of Sandcastle, the colour Sandcastle in this, and for me it's a little bit too much, so I've made some changes. I did have some flowers and stuff done. I had to unpick them, and they're going to be restitched. It's just been, I don't think I've ever had as much unpicking as I have in this one, but it'll be worth it in the end. And my only other bit of stitching was, I think many of you saw, we actually released, well, I call it Black Pomegranate Sampler. I think I actually called it the Pomegranate Sampler. But that was our sampler that we released. Bren, technically it's black and grey, but that was our sort of contribution to the Black Sampler November, which was the brainchild of Jacob at Modern Folk Embroidery, and everyone's having a ball with it. I've only got a small start. This is stitched on our 40 count paper bark, and I'm I'm using Cottage Garden Threads Felix and Cloudy Day, and we actually Katie's actually sending me. Well, we ordered a heap of the threads because a lot of people have been asking me if they can buy a kit off us. So by the time this video is, we will have those tomorrow. So if anyone wants to order the fabric and or a kit, I should say, we'll have it on our Fox and Rabbit website. So that's my very tragic first lot of stitching, but that was only 1 day stitching, so it actually is stitching up quite quickly. Some people are putting red in the pomegranate. I saw one stitcher who's actually doing it in grey and black, and she's actually putting little red beads in the pomegranate part, so I'll be looking forward to seeing that one come to life. But I will get quite a lot of stitching done of that, hopefully in the next 2 weeks in between, in all my spare time. I want to try to do an 8-9 hour day so that I've got a little bit of stitching time at night. So that is all my stitching for the last 2 weeks. How about you?
Well, I've basically done not much at all, but I picked back up Shores of Hawk Run Hollow. I'll take the nappy off it. Yeah, so I've been stitching a little bit more of Shores. So I've almost finished the first section now, so I'll probably have that finished before the weekend's out, and then I've got to decide whether I go down or across.
Yes, he's trying. That's the question of the
for
week.
The next section. So whether I want a busy block as the next one or an easy one.
Because the one underneath is gorgeous, but it's stitch heavy, and the one on the right is probably the least amount of stitching, but not as interesting. So. I just thought too, I was just trying to think why we've also been crazy busy this last 2 weeks. The Country Sampler had an exclusive by Paulette Stewart from Plum Street Samplers, which has just gone crazy. It's just gone nuts. And Paulette did 2 versions of the sampler, both on our linens, on Black Swan and on Hog Bristle. So we were madly also dying and getting that. We had enough linen that we'd put aside for that to get those out. So Brendan's actually, after this stuff's out, you're actually dying a second lot. But I think they're all sold out as well. So I do believe it's probably going to be re-released in the new year. I'm not sure, but that's another thing that kept us busy. And I'll show you that lovely chart a little bit later in my plans. That was another thing that we did. I kept forgetting all the things that have kept us busy this last 2 weeks. I don't know where this year's gone. Okay, so that's all of our stitching for the last 2 weeks. So we'll just pop in the video now. So we will just pop in the video now of our chat with Katie. And so you can all put a face to the name of the lovely thread designer that we've been raving about the last few weeks. So enjoy. Okay, we've got a very special guest today joining us on our Flosstube. We've got the lovely Katie Dawson from Cottage Garden Threads. How are you, Katie?
Hi, I'm so well. Thank you so much for having me today. This is really exciting to be here. Thank you.
Look at your beautiful top that you're wearing. That's actually cross-stitched, is that right?
Yeah, it is. Actually, these I found a whole heap of vintage linens in an op shop here, opportunity shop, which I think is a thrift shop or thrift store in the States. Yes, I found a big bag full and then gave them to a friend of mine to put them into a dress for me. So I have worn that today, especially. Thank you for noticing.
You'll have to excuse us if you hear thunder. We've got a massive thunderstorm hitting at the moment, so hopefully that thunder won't be too loud.
And hopefully we don't lose power.
Yes, yeah.
I know, the weather has just been crazy all over the country lately.
Literally just dropped on us right now. So we've got dogs freaking out over there and everything, so forgive the distractions if you hear anything in the background.
So, Katie, we just thought maybe, you know, everyone's so interested in your beautiful threads that we've been showing and we've been using and going to be using a lot more in our designs going forward. So everyone's, you know, just wants to know a little bit about cottage garden threads and how did it all start? How long have you been going? So we thought we'd just give us a little bit of a background on it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it was actually started by my mum, Pam, who couldn't be joining us today. She does apologise that she couldn't be with us. But 14 or 15 years ago, she actually started it on a kitchen sink in our little town of Mervyn North. And we've known you, Karen and Bren, for quite a few of those years, I think. Yeah, so it all started when a friend of Mum's, who's an embroiderer, asked Mum if she would dye some threads. Mum had a history of dyeing, hand dyeing fabrics, and so and it was Brenda Ryan who prompted Mum to have a go and said, here, it can't be that hard, and sourced a coat of thread, and off she went. So yeah, it started off with 35 colours in that first line of threads, and it's all gone from there. So yes, we have been operating for a fair few years, but really now starting to get noticed in the States, which is really, really exciting. And because Mum enjoys cross stitch. I certainly haven't gone into that world before. I'm more freeform embroidery, but it's amazing to see the threads being used in a different way to what we are used to seeing, which is really exciting. So yeah, we have now got I think we've got it's all happened so fast since COVID. We actually went back down to Mum and I, so we had 7 employees, and then during COVID a lot of our supplies were held up, and Mum and I had to make a really tough decision to go right back to just Mum and I and kind of start and build the business again. And that really gave us the opportunity to change things quite a bit and then get ready to be able to launch into other markets, which is really exciting. So it was a bit of a present wrapped in sandpaper for us. We could take a moment that we wouldn't have normally been able to have and really look towards the future. So now we're back up to 10 of us again, which is super exciting, which means that, our capacity is a lot bigger than what it was. And but we still hand dye them all. We all do it all here from our tiny little town in Mervyn North, and send it out. So everything is done by hand. We've got a little bit of help from some machines we've had designed, but other than that, like, every staple is put in by hand and all hand dyed and really made with love. So I came onto the scene about a year after Mum had started. I've been with the business a long time as well, throughout it growing, and
I think we first met many years ago. We're at a patchwork wholesale sales show, because we used to have patchwork in the show in Linen and Threads many years ago. So I do remember having catch up down at Bendigo one particular craft alive. That was
that was very fun.
Yeah, but for anyone, it's predominantly been the patchwork industry that most people in Australia know you from, and it's now that you want to branch out into the cross stitch and more needlework. And
cross stitch is definitely growing in Australia as well. It's really growing. So I've got my eyes on that sampler behind you. I can't remember what it was called, but I've absolutely fallen in love with that one. So I'm going to give it a go. And one of my cross stitching friends said, you're jumping into the deep end there. But we'll go and see. No, behind you, the really colourful one.
That's Mary Morgan's. That was our expo release. She's been very popular.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
gorgeous.
It's a good. My whole theory is with cross stitch is that as long as it's just all full crosses, my whole thing is you pick whatever you want to stitch. A lot of people I know in the past used to pick, if somebody was starting, they'd give them a little baby sampler or something. And you know, when you're a grown woman, that's great if you've got people that you want to stitch it for, but you aren't going to want that in your home. So my whole theory is Pick something you love, and then you'll have no problem stitching it. And that is just all complete cross stitches. So it's not, the only difference is it's bigger.
Yeah.
That's the only difference, is you don't need something this little to start with. You just need something that's cross stitch on its own, and the bigger it is, the longer it takes you to do. That's the only difference. It's no harder. So that's a great one to start with. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can't wait. And I can't wait to pick some threads out that are going to go really well with that, and have some
one of
fun
those
with,
down to you immediately. So so what are your plans for the future? You're planning to branch out overseas in the next 12 months?
Oh, well, right, immediately we're ready to go, and absolutely ready for shops to contact us, jump on the website, and have a look. And there's a wholesale application there for any shops who would like to start stocking our threads and products, and definitely get in contact with me. I'd love to have a chat as well. We have such a huge range as well that different things will suit different shops as well, depending on what they carry and what their taste and style is.
And we're going to work with you with some colours and stuff too, which will be exciting news down the track.
Yeah, yes, definitely working on some new edit ranges, and hopefully one of those will be designed for cross stitch, which is really exciting. And yes, we've also got a lot of projects coming out as well. They've mainly been the stitchery designs and things, but I'm certainly looking forward to seeing the threads in more of your designs, and cross stitch designs coming out as well. Yes, so
oh, sorry.
No, you go.
No, so I was saying, until such time as that you have a distributor in the States too, when we release a design, and we've been telling the shops this, we'll actually have the threads that we use of yours available. So when the shops order our charts, they can also order the thread packs to make it a little bit easier, until such time as you may go down.
That's right. Yeah. And we know that everyone's very conscious about the threads being readily available, and being a reliable supply is a really important thing. So that's why we've taken that time over COVID to really set ourselves up to be able to have that reliable supply and a really quick turnaround as well. We try to, have orders come in and go out within 4 days. So that's, to really be able to turn them around, even though we have such a huge range of colours, we can turn the orders around really quickly because of the way that we have our processes and things like that.
We find too that the colour consistency is great too, and that's always important. I know, we know as much as anyone with our hand dyed linens that it's it's always going to be different whenever it's a hand dyed process, but you do your best. And having used a lot of threads, and there's a lot of good ones out there, yours are very, very consistent with dye batch to dye batch, which is really important. You want to know if something's a red, that it's going to be a red and not an orangey red in the next thing. And that's what we've found, haven't we, Brandon? We've found them very, very good. We're actually I'm stitching the black pomegranate sample at the moment in Felix and Cloudy Day, which we'll be showing later on this video as well.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. I love dark colours. You can, in my typography range that I designed, a lot of the colours are darker, richer, inspired by vintage rusts and metals and patinas, and so there are a lot of the darker colours which I love, but I also love bright colours as well. Our colour consistency, so that is something that we have continually been working on over the years, because with any hand-dyed products, like you say, it's very hard to get that consistency because there's so many variables that go into the dye process. And even if you worked in strict lab conditions, there's still going to be a lot of variables down to the humidity in the air at the time, and the temperature, and the pH of the water. So many things. The mineral elements in the water. So we're running off town water here, and every now and again they'll put a heap of stuff in the water to filter, chlorines and things like that. So all of those things add up, and have an effect on threads. What we've done to try and get it as consistent as possible is we've really standardized our processes so that we are following, down to the absolute micrograms of dry dye stock, but sometimes that comes in, it's actually a little bit different as well, so then we've got to reformulate things to compare them. So unfortunately, you know, we've been going for 14 years, so there's still, because threads don't go off, you can have them in your stash for such a long time that you may pick one up now and have one in your stash from years ago, and they might not be the same. But as we move forward, we are seeing that our dye lots are a lot more consistent, and we do try and keep them within a certain degree of variation from that original colour before it passes quality control. So, and a really good way to know how old a thread is by our packaging, because we've had quite the evolution over the years of packaging from I think originally it was like a green card, and then it went to a yellow creamy coloured card, and we've just recently released our brand new packaging, and this is actually 100% recycled packaging, which is great too. And so we don't have any plastics involved with the threads, and everything is fully recyclable or compostable once you've finished with it. So yes, it's really exciting that we've got the new packaging. I don't think this camera will let me get too far in, but you can jump on our socials and have a look and see. On the back we've got our little story there of where we are in Australia, and Mum and I, down to the care instructions and how to use the packaging, as well as all the details. But down here is something that's super important when you are purchasing threads, and that's our rule of thumb is you buy enough plus one, so that you know that you've got sufficient amount for the project, and then a bit more in case, you know, you underestimated what it is that you need. So just like knitting wool, you make sure you buy enough for the project, and then you're not going to get caught short with your dye lots. So yeah, rule of thumb, buy enough plus one is a good reminder on there. And yeah, so that's super exciting. Did you want me to show you how to take one out of the packaging and keep it in there? All right, so the packaging isn't just cute, it's actually a system that's part of the thread. If you take the left hand side here and just pop that out of the packaging, you can see the cut ends there, and drop it down just like you're unbraiding some hair, and you can see that the thread actually stays in the packaging like that, ready to stitch. And I learnt from you guys that that's called floss drop. Yes. So it's a built-in floss drop ready to go, so you can pop a ring in the top there to keep them all together. So to get your thread out, you can just take one length, or you can actually divide these up and take out one strand at a time if you want to, if you know you're only going to be using a little bit.
Actually, even the one thread comes out really good.
Yeah. So what you can do is just give it a little bit of a start. So you get your one thread. Of course, I'm going to be super awkward because I'm doing it on camera.
Of course, always.
So you get your one thread there, and just pull it down like that to give it a bit of a head start. And then you do the same. You just hold your thumb and forefinger on there and give it a pull, and then you can get one out there. So what I like to do is keep my fingers on that bit that I pulled out, so that you make sure you're getting it from the same end when you pull that next one out, to line up the colours, because the colour may be in slightly different spots either side, so you don't want to put them top and tail. You want to put the same ones up. Okay, so yeah, to get out a whole length, just hold your thumb and your forefinger on there and give it a pull, and it'll come up. So that's only held on by a triangle of cardboard under there. There's no glues or adhesives or anything like that. So if you do give it a really hard pull, it will kind of pop out, but you can just tuck it back up under there if you need to do that. So with the threads, we've designed them so that there's the same colour on each end, so that when you are starting off from where you've finished, you're going to be in the same colour there. And there's a little bit extra on the ends of colour because if you've got to do a little double back stitch or a knot, you're going to take up a bit of colour, and also you can't keep stitching all the way to the end. You've still got to have some in your needle. So that's why that colour's a little bit longer on each end. And you can see they're mirrored. So in the way that they're dyed, they are dyed the same on each side, so that when you're using that length, it means that it's you can mirror it. So if you're starting like doing a bit of fussy stitching and you're really wanting that colour placement to be right, you know where you can start and stop on the threads. So
that's one of my favourite things. I'm even finding that just with the cloudy day as I'm filling in the pomegranate, it's just nice because you're not finishing on a dark colour and then starting smack on a light one, just having that lovely fade. And when
that's exactly right.
It's wonderful. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that's exactly, because otherwise, what's the point in using a variegated thread when you've got those beautiful blends between colours if you're just going from an abrupt change from one to the other? And that's why we've got a really nice short colour change as well. So goes from one colour and then the blend in, which is about there, into the other colour, and then you're into the next one, so that you're getting that rapid change in colour throughout your piece. And especially with cross stitch, where you know you've got tiny little areas that you're doing, and it means that the colours are going to come out and have that effect. Whereas with machine produced threads, they're quite long in their colour changes and quite abrupt, so you're not getting that beautiful blend between colours that only hand dyeing can, the hand dyeing process can actually.
They're also longer than your average one too, Katie. You might want to mention how many metres are on there, because they are quite large strands.
So these are all 10 metres, and they are pre-cut. So yeah, as you can see, they're pre-cut.
Yards. 11 yards. Yeah.
Yeah, and so they're 50 centimetres, and that's about, well, I mean, it's my arm's length, but I do have very long arms, so yeah, it's a smidge longer than that that arm length traditionally, which is great because it means you're not pulling it. If you've got a giant long piece and you're pulling it through your fabric, it's going to shred and tear, and you don't want that. So
yeah. That's what we like.
Yeah, so that's our threads, and we go. So that's a really like multicolour change. That one, a real hero thread, and we've got about 500 colours or something in between all of the ranges. So from really brights down to the more
subtle ones.
Single colour, but a multi-toned of those colours as well. Like that one there, carrot seed and pumpkin seed.
Oh, I love that.
There, and then some of your brighter ones there. But I think this one's one of your favourite.
And hugs and kisses. Which one's that one? I can't
Good timing. Hugs and kisses. Yeah, you
hugs and kisses. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I know this camera's not showing up the writing very well, but you can see that colour there.
Amazing. And there's so many red work samplers out there at the moment, Katie, that is a beautiful red to use on them.
Yeah, and we actually, that's one of the only ones apart from Felix that we actually double dye that one. It goes through the processes twice to get that richness of colour. Yeah, it goes through the process twice. So
at the moment too, everyone's doing this which was the brainchild of Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery. Everyone's stitching black samplers this month. So I thoroughly recommend that they choose Felix, because I think it's one of the best blacks.
It's not a really harsh black. It's just it's beautiful. We love it.
Fast enough variation to be not pure black, like flat black. It's really
it's not like it's been just dipped in a vat. It's still been hand dyed. So it's still got that slight tonal variation there, which really makes it look antique, and worn, which is great.
It's the storm. All the dogs are freaking out because of the thunder and lightning.
Yeah, that's all right.
A puppy, so she's not too sure what's going on.
It's beautiful. I've got a puppy at home as well. I think they're about the same age.
She's going on 5 months now, so she's still
I know. I've got it, and we've also got Rosie, who comes to work every day, who is actually my puppy's sister. So then they're a black and tan coonhound, which actually originates from America. The breed of dog. Yeah. Traditionally a hunting dog, but they love their family, they love their pack, and they're just adorable. So that's fun having a puppy in the workplace. Lots of serotonin.
Yeah, exactly right. Oh, she's finally getting a little bit, but you just forget. Like Peaches is 3 years old now.
You forget what having a puppy's
like. Why that you forget what a puppy's like, and you have the insanity to think, let's get another one, and all of a sudden it's like,
just like having kids. Yeah,
it's unbelievable. But anyway, but she's just not too sure what all this loud. She's not too scared like the other two, but she's not. Every time there's a big crack of thunder, it's probably the loudest thunderstorm we've had since she's been here. So she's not too sure what's going on. So it's okay. She'll be right. So now you've got a nice little surprise for everybody.
Absolutely do. So excuse the phone ringing in the background, sorry. We are here at CG HQ in the warehouse. So all behind that wall is where all the magic happens. If you want an idea of what our place of work actually looks like, we're in a gorgeous old building in the main street of Melbourne North, and I did design a stitchery, and I'll just grab you up. Yeah. This was actually stitched by Brenda Ryan. All of the edit designers stitched their own versions of this, and I'm a bit behind, so mine's not finished. But this is actually an illustration I did of the front of our building. So where I'm sitting right now on the couch is actually right through that window there. So you can imagine me sitting in that little place there. So it's a very long, narrow building, and so behind that is where all of the dyeing and all of the order fulfillment and everything happens.
And for those who don't know, Brenda Ryan is a wonderful Australian embroidery designer.
Yes,
stitcheries and stitcheries, standalone stitcheries for patchwork quilts. She's been doing it for many, many years, and she's wonderful. So
she is.
We'll put a link to Brenda Ryan because she's
great. She's teamed up with Joe Maxwell and they've come together to create Hare's Nest curated kits, and we actually distribute for them as well. So they've got some absolutely gorgeous. You'll see them on our socials. Some of their projects. Beautiful, gorgeous, like illustrative embroidery work, and they put together the kits with all sorts of bits and pieces, and they're just
we'll link them below as well.
Thank you. Great. So yes, a big surprise, which I hinted at, my little secret, and a really good friend of ours, and his name on Instagram is Handlebar Stitcher. So he probably won't be very impressed with me saying that. He wanted to stay a bit anonymous, but he's done such an amazing job, and we absolutely love it. So he has designed something for us to give away as a free chart that's available to download off our website, www.cottagegardenthreads.com.au. So we'll pop that in, and it's a little biscornu design that is Australian themed. So you can see there the gorgeous kangaroos, and it's going to do that thing where it doesn't want to focus on me. There we are.
That's good.
Yeah, so there's some waratahs in the centre there, some kangaroos, some wattle, and some gum leaves around the edges, and then a bit of a geometric wattle design there. You can't see very well, but there's some back stitches all in between linking all of those up. So it's just a gorgeous little pink cushion. Yes, that he's done on like a tea-stained fabric. Sorry, but we'll have some photos that I'll pop up on socials and things. You can see a good close up, and on the chart there'll be some nice colour photos where you can really see the detail of that. But I just think those little kangaroos are absolutely gorgeous.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a little Aussie thing, and he has done it in Christmas colours, but doesn't necessarily have to be done in Christmas colours. But these are the called for threads that have been used. Got your favourite there, Karen, hugs and kisses. Those waratahs, and then buttercup, a nice vibrant yellow for the wattle, and the kangaroos and the gum leaves are called a thread called spruce. So LM23 spruce. And the highlights in the gum leaves and the back stitching is 801 salvia there. So that's a really soft green that goes into a little bit of a beige colour. So that's just a gorgeous little palette.
Yep.
That is available from you guys.
Yes, we'll have we'll go on our Fox and Rabbit website. We will have the thread packs, and we'll probably put I think we'll put Mayflower, one of our linens, as a small piece.
Oh, perfect. Yes. I've totally forgotten.
And if they want to buy the thread pack and the linen, they can buy it from anywhere, but they can also buy it from us. So we'll have a link as well.
Yeah, I'm imagining that on one of your linens is just going to be
Mayflower or
absolutely
paperback. Maybe paperback. Paperback would probably be nice.
Yeah.
The fact that there's waddle and stuff on there. So good. So that
beautiful.
Is gorgeous. So yeah.
I can't remember what count it is though.
Oh, that's okay. We'll be able to put it on. It'll be on the chart. So
yeah, it'll be on the chart. Yeah.
Where they can go and download that from your website, and we'll also put our link for a kit if they did want to order that as well. And I know your turnaround time's very fast, so if we sell out of what we've already bought, we know it's only a couple of days.
Absolutely. Yes.
That's wonderful. So yeah, so thank you very much, and please thank the wonderful designer. And I'm sure he won't be anonymous after this, so
no, not at all.
He'll all of a sudden his Instagram. Now, is there anything they have to do? Do they have to, there's that thunder. Do they have to like subscribe, do anything, or just pop over and download?
There may possibly be a little pop-up that comes up with just subscribe, and that way you'll be subscribing to our newsletter, so you won't miss out on any news. We don't spam. We don't do them very often. We're lucky if I get one newsletter.
Yeah, I know. I get quite excited when I do get a newsletter. I'm like, hey, it's always
exactly. But we've got lots of stuff coming up, which is really exciting as well. So that's a really good way to never miss out on what is happening. Certainly when freebies come up and specials and things as well. So yeah, that would be fantastic. And jump onto our Instagrams. I know you guys did a giveaway. And yeah, Instagram went nuts, so that was fantastic. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's great.
We're still waiting on here for someone to get back to us about the second pack. But if you haven't heard by the time this video airs, we'll do a second draw, so we'll get that second person to you by then. So Brendan's actually got them in front of him, the ones that we gave away in those two.
Yes.
That you kindly donated. Brendan's going to try to get them all in his hand at once. Well done. Oh, that's well done, Brendan. Oh, this is going to be fun.
No, I've done it so awkwardly.
He's done it so awkwardly. There we go. Aren't they beautiful? So we just picked out a bunch of beautiful colours.
Yeah. So that's on our older packaging.
I was just about to say, that's on the older packaging.
Yeah. So these ones will be on the new one, but it still works the same, exactly the same. You drop out the left-hand side, still works exactly the same. Now, one thing is that on our Facebook page, we actually got, our admins got booted off there. So if you do try and contact us, don't do it through our Facebook page because we don't have access to that at the moment. So the Instagram, or you just
or via your website,
and there'll be contact details and contact form on there.
Perfect.
We certainly welcome any wholesale inquiries.
Oh, absolutely. And as I said to you, we'll sort of put you in touch with some shops that we deal with as well. Also, we've been getting in touch with some designer friends, but if there's any designers watching that want to get in touch with you about using your threads,
absolutely,
below. So so it's all good.
Great.
And so I think that hopefully there'll be a big lot of interest after this. There already is. Like, we get emailed every day asking when are they going to be available, not just in the States, but in England, in Europe, wherever. And it's like,
and there is a couple of shops over in America already, in US and over in Europe as well. So jump on our stockist list on the website to find a shop near you. They might not be right near you, but they can certainly post them. And if you've got a local needlework store or a local quilt store, if you go in and just ask them if they've heard about us, or let them know about us, because that'll help spread the word and get it out there.
It sure is. Like we've just seen it, you know, so many people asking shops for linens, and some shops we didn't even know existed have contacted us because people have been ringing them and asking them. So
yeah, that's right.
Stitcher works wonders. So yeah,
right.
So it's going to be a great.
So many exciting things coming up.
Sorry, it is, and it's like
Yeah.
It's been a tough 2 years for everybody throughout the world. Luckily for our industry, we've been pretty lucky. But as you said, it gave you guys a chance to sort of slow down and rejig everything to the point where you're in a better place than you were before the pandemic. So, you know, how good is that? You've got to look at glass half full after all this.
Absolutely.
I think 2022 is going to be a good year. I mean, touch wood. Jinx us all now. I wasn't too hopeful for 2021. I thought we'll being a bit optimistic with 2021, but I think 2022 is going to be a good year. As you know, we're going to market, so we're working on our designs now, so that's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
So we'll give you plenty of heads up when we need those trends to take over there. So so it's going to be very
absolutely
exciting. And everyone can now put
great
the name and know who
yes.
talking about when we mention your lovely threads. So lovely, Katie. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the giveaway. We love it. And thank you for the giveaway last week for the threads. It was just so generous. So yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. Good.
Now
all
I think
right.
we're going to have to go because I think we're about to lose power. This storm is hitting with a vengeance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Katie.
All right. Well, happy stitching. Thank you, guys. And we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so we hope you enjoyed that. Thanks so much, Katie. That giveaway is lovely. That Biscornu is such a cutie. Thank you to the designer. We'll put his link below. Go and give him some Instagram love. I know he's a little bit shy apparently, but let's get his numbers up because he's a wonderful designer. We'll also have the kits for that as well. We've got the Cottage Garden threads arriving tomorrow, I think. So if anyone would like to order the threads for that, they can do it on our site, or you know, just download it from Katie's and substitute your own if that's what you like. Just use your
favourite threads.
There's only 4 colours in it, so it's pretty easy to do. So so pop on over, download that cutie and get stitching. Okay, so purchases.
Yes, so the scary part of the video where I find out
there hasn't been as much this week.
What's been snuck into the house in the last 2 weeks?
Not a whole lot. I was excited this morning because the Witchy Stitcher released a couple of new designs today, and you should pop on over. I don't know if it's still going. It certainly was this morning. It just depends how long this video takes to load, but she has a 10% off sale on her thewitchystitcher.com site. So I ordered, first of all, I found a Halloween design I hadn't seen before. This is not, I don't think this is a new one. I don't think it's that old, but I hadn't noticed it before, but it's called Trick and Treat. So I will be stitching that one during the year. But the one I was really excited about is called Season's Grievings. And as you all know, I love Halloween, but I also love Christmas as a close second. So this is combining both the things I love. It's called Season's Grievings, and it's in 2 colorways. The first one is in like an orange, black and grey, which I do like, but I am going to stitch it in the second colorway. The picture's a little bit dark. It's this one's in red, green and black. So that is so much fun, and that's going into my Christmas rotation. A little bit different to the Christmas stuff I usually stitch, but that's gorgeous. Many of you would follow Jan Hicks. Jan Hicks has a fabulous Flosstube, but also she mentioned this last week that she found a Christmas Advent design, and she's going to be running a sale over on her Facebook group and Facebook page. The hashtag's going to be Christmas Advent Sale, I believe. And so I had to jump in and get this straight away because I was looking for an Advent stitch. And this is by Croquette A Go-Go, and I know I will have mucked that up. But it's basically, and then in Italian, basically, I think it means Advent 2020. But so this is obviously from last year. But a whole stack of people are going to be joining Jan and stitching that this season. So again, not the greatest photo, but it's Croquette A Go-Go, and that just looks beautiful. And the pattern is really, really good. The chart's really good. So I will be pulling those gorgeous colours before the 1st of December and starting on the 1st of December with everybody else. And I am desperately going to try to do one a day. So hopefully everybody will join. The other thing is Hands On Design are doing a thing called the Cookie Exchange. And it's going to be a downloadable chart, I believe, and it's going to be, I think the download's going to be on the 1st of December, the 3rd of December, and the 5th of December, I think. Hopefully I haven't stuffed that up, Kathy. The hashtag is the HOD Cookie Exchange Sale, and there's quite a few different vendors participating. Obviously, I'll just be getting the downloadable chart each release, but some of the vendors that have contributed are Hand Dyed by Stephanie, the Homestead Needlework, Lady Dot Creates, That's So Kelly has done some thread drops, and I think it's a corner gauge. So there's a lot of different vendors you can buy from to that have contributed to this, but it's a lot of fun. So duck over to Hands On Design. That's just the information sheet. Hands On Design. Look for the Cookie Exchange Sale, and that's also going to be a lot of fun. From what Kathy has said, each one is very doable in about a day. So I'll be holding her to that one. So that's a lot of fun. I love going in things like, you know, mystery sales and all that sort of stuff. I did the Brenna Gervais one last year from with the Needle and Thread, and that was a lot of fun. I hope she does another one this year. And my other purchase, last but not least, is from our friend Julie at Kansas City Girl and Colorado World, one of my favourite floss tubers. She's also a designer, and she designs under Hemlock and Rye. So if you do a search for Hemlock and Rye Stitchery, we'll put the link below. Julie sells her designs on a platform called Gumroad, which we hadn't heard of before. But from what I can gather, you put your charts up there at $0, and so you can actually download it for free. But, you know, throw the designer some love. Obviously, you can actually opt to pay for the chart, which clearly we did. You know, it's very generous of Julia, but, you know, I just think when the designer takes a lot of time to do this, it's nice to just pay them something if you can afford it. So this one, it's obviously going to be going into my Halloween stitching or spooky time of year. I just didn't get a chance to do it for this year. But that's a little cutie. And I'm going to stitch that on our new Black Swan linen, because I think the white and the green will stand out really well. So that's called Luna. So pop on over and buy that chart from Julie. And that's all my purchases. What did you get, baby? I've got plans, but that's a different thing.
Yeah, I only bought one pattern, which is part of a new stitch along that's happening. Lola Crow has a cryptid Christmas mystery stitch along, and they released their first ornament last Friday.
And look what the first one is.
Yay! We've got a Bigfoot. So they're releasing each Friday a series of cryptid ornaments.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that should be fun.
Yeah. So again, you're gonna have to go stitching that on our Black Swan, aren't you? That'll be fun.
Yeah, they stitch it on Ada, Black Ada.
Yeah, we'll do it on our Black Swan.
Yeah, Karen wants to torture me and have me stitch it on black linen.
It's a good one too, because as I said, I'm stitching the Witchy Stitcher cryptid one for Brendan anyway. So we really didn't need 2 whole things in the house, so that'll keep him busy, and they'll be going on a special little cryptid tree.
Actually, I think I've shown that one before, haven't I?
I think you did, because that's the one that Lily chewed the edge of.
Yeah, I think I've shown that one before. The other thing that I got is a book.
Yes.
So it's just a pattern book.
From the V&A.
It's a V&A pattern book, and it's just full of images of different patterns from their collections.
Textiles and all textiles.
Textiles, wallpapers. Paintings.
Oh, smell the book. I love the smell of books.
It's got some amazing pieces in here, just for inspiration for future designs.
Yeah, and I'd adapt a few things into some cross stitch. But Brent and I are book obsessed. We love, apart from loving obviously novels, we love coffee table books. So yeah.
I'm not sure why I added that book back to my pile.
I don't know why, baby. Maybe because you plan on stitching that beautiful pair for me, maybe.
Maybe it was.
Maybe.
Yeah, but it was an inspirations book. I think we showed it a couple of floss tubes ago.
Yeah.
But
Lily's had a little nibble on the corner.
Yeah.
Brendan almost...
Lily decided that she wanted to stitch
Amazing.
So she didn't just chew the corner of the book, she's chewed the corner of most of the pages as
Anyway,
well.
this won't hurt the patterns. Technically speaking, this was a purchase you made, but Brendan also bought me the, you've already bought me the, what was it, baby? The Dream Assortment #1 of the Sulky, the Sulky Petites. And I just love stitching with it. The black is fantastic. The coverage on like a 36 count is absolutely perfect. And this is the Dream Assortment #2. So while that was for me, that was technically a purchase that Brendan made. So that was a lovely surprise during the week. So, yeah. So we haven't really been all that bad this week, really. This fortnight, I should say.
Haven't had time.
Oh, that was the one other thing is too. My mother-in-law is knitting me something at the moment, and she told me the weight of the yarn and everything to buy. So just one day during the week, I quickly ducked down to Sydney to Dulwich Hill. Anyone who lives in Sydney, if you're a yarn lover, you need to check out the Skane Sisters and they're online as well. But this shop was heaven. So this beautiful yarn is going to go up to my mother-in-law today when we see her at the hospital and we visit Bren's dad. It's so beautiful. It's all sort of neutral, browny, pinky browns and greys with a little tiny hint of aqua in them. So when that is made, I will show everyone because that's going to be beautiful. So yeah, so that was it. It made me wish I do crochet, so I was a little bit tempted, but I was good because I know that in the next few weeks we'll just be flat out. So I thought I'll duck back down when things are a little quieter and do some more purchasing. And what was that? Was a gift thing for you, Brendan?
Yeah, so I actually bought the bullet and cleaned up my office last week.
We've had a major clean. We just need this house to be spotless so that when that crazy amount of linen, which is now taking up half our house, arrived, we weren't under a pile of rubbish. It was very cathartic, wasn't it, Brent?
Yeah, so as part of the cleanup process, I went through all of my sample boxes and all the not so accurate colours that we've actually pulled. So we're gonna have we're gonna have a lot of. I've pulled together a massive big box of that. So over the next week or two, at night time, if I'm still awake.
When he comes in at about when the sun goes down, he's been dying for 12 hours. So
we'll get some of those linens up. There's some really nice linens in there. There's some a lot of the linens are our test pieces where we were finalising colours. So they're almost colours.
He was amazed by how much he had in there. So for all of those who missed out the last time we did one of these, there'll be quite a few to pick from. So
there's a massive big box that'll be putting up over the next.
Keep an eye on
week
Instagram.
or so.
On Instagram, we'll probably announce it on Instagram and our Facebook page. So keep an eye on that, and Brent will put up that we're about to do it at this time tomorrow or whatever.
But it won't all be up at once. It'll be up
progressively
over a couple of weeks. So if you miss out on one piece,
yeah,
there's probably going to be something similar coming up.
Yeah.
A little bit later. But as part of that cleanup process, I actually found a piece of needlework that we actually got in the mail.
Yeah. Last year, no.
Last year, beginning of last year, I think.
I think it was the beginning of last year. Could have been 2019.
Yeah. So, Chris.
I was going to say, don't put her address on there. She's actually got her return address.
So she actually stitched and mailed, and it arrived like this. It had a little stamp on it, but the stamp's fallen off.
It actually had a stamp on it. We couldn't believe it arrived.
Yeah. So it's a little envelope that she stitched.
And it was with one of both the designs on there are little freebies that we had.
Yeah. So
we have.
This reminded me that we had this freebie.
Yeah.
So I actually have put it up on our website.
Yeah.
So it's just a little Quaker alphabet.
That was Chris Canada. I think we met Chris. I think when we were up in Wisconsin last year. I think she model stitches for Needlebling Designs, but I'm not sure. But Teresa and Brian from Needlebling had some people over for a stitching day with us when we were visiting their aftermarket last year, and I'm sure Chris was one of the ladies we met there. Yeah. But how beautiful was that? That was a lovely surprise in the mail.
And that reminded me that we had this free design.
Yeah.
So we've put that back up on the website. So if you want to jump on the website, you can download that.
And speaking of designs too, Brendan did one called Pansies and Dandelions quite a few years ago now. I don't even remember it was for something, but I can't remember. And I know Naomi, who's stitching squirrels, she actually created a Facebook group for people stitching it. And so if you pop over there, there's lots of different versions of it. But a few people, somebody clearly must have stitched it somewhere, because all of a sudden we were getting a heap of emails asking, is this a discontinued chart? Do you still have it? We completely forgot that we didn't have it up on our Fox and Rabbit site, so it's now up. I forgot to print it out, so Brenda will just insert the picture here. But this is also a good one for Black Sampler Stitching November. So yeah, it's a really sweet one. A lot of people have done it in various colours, but a lot of people have just done it in black and white.
Yeah.
So that's available now as a PDF.
Yeah, and I've reformatted the chart as well, so it's a lot clearer.
It's a little bit more up to date, the chart, from anyone who originally purchased it. The other thing too is, as I mentioned before, the Plum Street Sampler exclusive for the Country Sampler in Spring Green, because the models were stitched on both our Black Swan and Hog Bristle, because we were contributors to the actual design. We were gifted the chart by our lovely friend Paulette.
Or the charts.
The charts. It's in 2 different colorways. There are not 2 colorways in the one chart. Paulette does explain it on her Instagram page. Basically, there were some color changes in one, so the symbols were going to be different on the 2 charts. So it is 2 different ones. I do know the country sampler has sold out of both.
2 intakes.
Of 2 intakes, but I do believe, I know that she was talking to us about a 3rd shipment of the linen, so she said she'd be in touch with us about that. So I don't know if that's going to be in the new year. So I know technically this is a Christmas design, but I'll be certainly trying to stitch it for Christmas. But this is a big stitch, so you can stitch it all year round and get ready for next year if they do have a 3rd intake. I believe it's exclusive to the Country Sampler for a whole year. So I'd say Jen will be taking a 3rd intake. From what I can gather, a few people were, I think, a little upset that they missed out. But from what I can gather, I think back in September, may have even been July.
No, it was
July,
October.
August.
It was October, wasn't it?
No, I think Katrina said this morning that it was back in sort of July, August or something. A newsletter went out. The only saying that this was available to pre-order. The only thing was, because the models were not finished being stitched, it was sight unseen, and many people bought it, which is why I think the first run sold out so quickly. They bought it sight unseen. They didn't know what this beautiful design was going to be, but they were pretty sure, given the fact that it was going to be a Plum Street Samplers exclusive, that it's a foregone conclusion it's going to be awesome. So, and I think, again, the 2nd intake, Jen put it up in her newsletter on the website. It's not on the website now because I think they took it down once it sold out. But it's just been crazy, wasn't it?
Yep. So
the first one, it's called This Happy Morning, and I'm going to stitch it on our Black Swan. But this is the Hog Bristle version of This Happy Morning. Thank you so much, Paulette. We were very happy that we were one of the contributors. So suppliers and stuff like that get the chart. So we supplied both lots of linen. So that's the one on Black Swan, and that's the one I'm going to be stitching. But my suggestion would be, if you want to go on a waiting list for the 3rd intake, I'd contact the Country Sampler in Spring Green and go on a waiting list, because I'm pretty sure there'll be another run of those kits. Yep. Speaking of kits too, Paul Brennan is a little bit weary today because he set his alarm for 5:45 a.m. this morning to get up and try to buy the Krampus box by Starlight Stitchery. Sadly, he missed out. Gosh, you've got to be quick on those things. It was
gone in about 2 minutes.
I know. He was doing his best to get it all in the cart, and he had it all set up, ready to go. And
I was typing my credit card details in as it then come up and said it's sold out.
It's sold out, so bless him. So well done everyone who got that box. But speaking of boxes, though, it made us sort of think. As many of you know, we're going to be doing our fabric club. That registration will be going up in the next few weeks. Once we get all this fabric done, Brent will concentrate on getting all that up. And as I think we've said to you, what we're doing with that to get around the postage is we're actually going to be sending them in one big box to a friend in the United States, and that's going to be sent out from there. We'll do all the postage here in Australia.
Yeah. And if we get enough in the UK as well.
In the UK, yes, someone's kindly offered to
do a similar thing.
Thing in the UK for us. So that's wonderful. We'll have all those details up very soon. But we were toying with the possibility of doing our own probably seasonal boxes next year. The only problem with that is because they are boxes, clearly we can't do what we're going to do with the Fabric Club and send it all in one box to the States, so into England. But we would have to actually post it from here to each person. So we're just not sure whether the postage cost would be prohibitive for people. So we're basically just asking, we're just throwing it out there and saying, look, is this something that you guys would be interested in us doing? They'd be probably at least 4 to 6 curated boxes a year. Yeah. I'm not sure what the postage would be, but I have no idea. Yeah. We wouldn't know until we weigh them. But if it's something that you'd be interested in, even though there will be overseas postage, please drop us a message in the comments, because we really would like some feedback as to whether it's something we look at doing. The first one will we look at going out around about the first quarter of the year. So anyway, let us know. It's something we would love to do. It'd be a lot of fun. And that's something we're thinking about doing. So that's one of our plans. I think...
What are you stitching? What's your plans, Karen?
Well, my plans basically are just to continue on with the our pomegranate sampler. I want to get that finished. I definitely want to get the the Carol and Amelia trowel one done. I want to get that finished and framed by Christmas. I really do. And basically, there's not going to be a whole lot of time for stitching in the next few weeks, to be honest. I'll be doing at least 8 to 9 hour days cutting and serging, so I can stay about 150 yards ahead of Brendan every day. So I don't have many plans other than that, but I do want to continue on with those. And obviously, I was going to say there's quite a few plans from December 1st, but those will be in our next, like things like the Advent. I want to get all that pulled and ready to go for the 1st of December, but that's pretty it. What about you, Bub? You going to just continue on with your shawls?
Yeah, as I can use my hands, I'll continue with shawls of Walker and Hollow.
A few people have asked us about when our next Zoom would be. Normally we do want to try and do one a month, but just because of this volume of work we've got coming up over the next few weeks, we won't be doing one in November, but we will absolutely be doing one in December. So Bren's going to do it a little bit differently this time. I think we mentioned in the last video, even it doesn't cost anything, but we'll have tickets basically. Yeah. So you'll be able to hop online and just do that. It's free. It's just so that we can manage the number of people. So that'll be a bit of fun. And as a giveaway, we mentioned the last video that we hadn't heard from the second person who won the Cottage Garden Threads pack of 10.
I keep doing that awkwardly, don't I?
You do. I don't know why. You're right.
I'm not very smart.
He did this clearly in the video with Katie as well. Yeah. So they're those 10. I know we showed them in that video with Katie, but so unfortunately the person didn't contact us, so we've got one more pack of those. So if you just put Cottage as the word, so COTTAGE in the comments, you will go in the draw. And as we said, you'll have the time between that video, when we draw that next video, and the following one to take that up, or again it'll go into a redraw. I'm trying to work out a better way of contacting people, but unless we get the person contact us, we've got no way of getting a hold of them. So
and also the t-shirts that we gave away a couple of videos ago, one of the people doesn't claim one of those. So if we don't hear from within the next week, we'll do the redraw for that shirt.
And we've got the other person. The thing is, we need to get the printing done together, so we need that second person to contact us, so that we can just put that order in. Also, too, Colleen from Lockerbie Stitches, we need your size and address. So she's the designer of our fabulous logos. So so as soon as we get that, we'll get those t-shirts out to the recipients. I'm sure there's a million things the other plans I have this week, obviously, You can't see around the house at the moment. Little bits are happening behind, but Christmas is exploding all over the house as well. So in between all the craziness of the next 3 weeks, I want to get the house fully decorated. There's no doubt that Christmas is coming when you walk into our house after I get my decorating done. So Brendan got into the roof where we store everything a couple of days ago.
7 massive big boxes of Christmas.
Yeah, and our Christmas tree's still up there. I haven't even got that down yet. So I thought I'll decorate everything. Then I get this. We bought a new Christmas tree this year, which was funny. And what did we think, Brendan? We thought it was a 6-foot Christmas tree.
The lady told us in the shop it was a 6-foot tree.
Yeah.
But when we got it home, it's a 7.5-foot tree.
And our ceilings are about 8 foot?
Yeah.
So I don't even know if I'm going to have room for the angel on top, but it's a pretty tree. Our old one was past its use by date, so it's a narrow one, so it doesn't take up as much space width-wise, but it's going to be huge. I'm looking over there because that's where it's going to be. But we'll also we'll do a video of the Christmas displays next week. And for everybody else, I just remember one last thing. Just because of everything happening with Bren's dad this last week, he hasn't had a chance to do his aunt video. There are so many requests for Brendan's to see Brendan's aunts. But the good news is it will, I promise, be up on the next video. But also we're going to have a new member of the ant colony, aren't we, Brendan?
Yes, there's a new visitor, a new queen coming to visit us next week.
Apparently it's another one. It's a different looking one, but apparently it's another one of those dinosaur ants. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
A jumping jack.
A jumping jack. Doesn't that sound delightful?
Yeah, so apparently she can jump about 12 inches high.
Oh my gosh.
And she's got a painful sting. So
there we go.
perfect.
So fun. So yeah, so when she arrives, that will prompt Brendan to take a video of his ant colonies that are in. I'm looking over there because that's in his office. Thankfully, everything seems quite secure, unlike the escape we had a while back. Luckily, they were small ants, but these big ones are well and truly secured. So he will do a video for everybody.
Those escaped ones are actually living somewhere in my
office.
office.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
I keep finding them walking on my desk.
I really and truly don't
find out
want
where
to
they are and get them back.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so the good thing is when she arrives, that will prompt him to do that video and we will pop it on the end of the next video. So yeah, everyone's very curious about Brendan's ants. And I think that's about it. Yep. I think that's it. This is probably going to be another long one because I know the interview with Katie went for about 40 minutes. So it's another long one, guys. So we hope we haven't bored you. So thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time. And then hopefully not too weary. Hopefully Brendan's not too weary and tired. I'm sure he'll have
I'll be multicoloured.
He'll be multicoloured by then, absolutely. Somebody asked if he got his vet gloves. Not yet. Somebody suggested these vet gloves. I don't even want to know what they do with those things, but apparently they go up to the shoulder. But Brendan hasn't got those just yet. So, okay, everyone, have a happy, safe week, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
Bye.
Bye.